Welcome back, Honest Man. Playing some more chess here. I'm still on day 2 of my chess career, trying to play Emir. So let's see how we do. Okay, white pieces. Go d4. I mean, that's just a free pawn, right? No, he's guarding with his knight. What am I looking at? Okay. Okay, he forked my pawns. He loses his knight if he goes for this. I mean, they're both protected. I don't think that's a big thing. This pawn, this bishop, and my queen, I all want to get out of here. What's the right order? I think it's this. Then here. He castles. Okay. I really want to move the queen so I can castle, long castle to the left. I'm looking for jumps for my knight. Let's put some pressure on his knight, actually. How about that? Want to get the queen out. I feel like e2. Because then I set up pushing the e pawn. If he takes, I take with queen, and then it also leaves his knight hanging. If he doesn't take, I take, which opens up the e file for the queen. Queen can go e6. No, she can't. The bishop covers that. Or better, yeah, if he doesn't take, I just continue to push the pawn to e5 and fork. I don't know if it's technically a fork, but basically I'd be threatening both the bishop and the knight. So yeah, I feel like that's what I want to work towards here. I could castle as well, but if he's going to keep this where it is, I feel like now's the time. I did not see that. Or maybe I did. Yeah, that was an early move. Basically, he's just trading bishops. Okay, now. Yeah, it's no longer a fork, but it's unguarded, right? Just push the pawn, threaten the knight. Has to retreat. Okay, so the file didn't open up, but I feel like we took a lot of real estate. I feel like that's a win. I'm not sure where to go. I guess he's threatening this pawn. Don't want him to get it for free. Let's guard it with the queen. Now, long castle. I mean, I'm tempted to go g1 here, but this file, this square is heavily guarded. I mean, I could just drop it up into g5. No, I couldn't. That's a hollow threat because he can just move a pawn. If I take the knight, he just takes back. That's a bad trade for me. And he can just push another pawn to kick me out. So I don't think that's good. Maybe stack with the queen. E1. Continue put pressure on this middle file. I don't know how I'm going to open it up, though, is the problem. I got to get this rook, this pawn out of the way. Maybe some knight moves. No. Not seeing anything great there. I could jump in here on the G file. That would threaten this pawn, but that's not... Doesn't seem like a great position. And he's potentially taking with his bishop. Let's just tuck the king over a little bit. How about that? How about we just move the king? See, now he's trying to stack that file too. I mean, if I'm going to do a rook, I feel like this is probably the better rook. Interesting. Okay, so now that weakens the pawn that I was after. Could go knight g5 here, looking to attack e6. Oh, God, I really should have done that first. That was a good move by him. God, I should have pushed my f pawn. I didn't realize that. That's a good move. I should have pushed my f pawn. He beat me to the square. I'm not sure if this helps me, but I'm just going to set this rook up on this file. Presents some sort of a threat instead of no threat at all. I mean, I can jump into g5 here. Or move the rook. Problem with the rook is that it's an empty threat, because I can't actually capture anything without losing a piece. Right. I mean, if he... Best case scenario, he tries to counter with his h-pawn, and then I take his g-pawn. But then I lose to his queen. So that's not good. If I jump in with the knight, I threaten the pawn and back, but that's a hollow threat because the queen can just take. I threaten the pawn in the middle in the e-file, but that's also a hollow threat because he can take with his bishop or his queen. I could jump to the 7th rank, but that doesn't... That's just as dangerous. That doesn't help me either. He's really locked me down here. I don't see any meaningful moves to advance the position. Not without losing anything. which is maybe one of my weaknesses at this point, is I'm so reticent to lose material. But sometimes it's probably something you just have to do. I mean, there's some things I could do on the left-hand side here, but I really don't want to push the pawns protecting the king. That feels like a bad idea. So I'm not too keen on that. All right, this feels like a mistake, but all right, I'm just going to push this pawn. If he takes with his knight, I can recapture that, so I don't think that's happening. See what he does. Okay, that removes some protection from this e-pawn, which is good. This is maybe nonsensical, but I'm trying to create something here. So now I can push this pawn. I don't want to throw away my bishop. I don't know what he's up to over there. I feel like that's good. I feel like that pins his knight, because if he moves this knight, I take his queen. Think about pushing the b pawn. If I push the b pawn to force some action, that only hurts me, I think. Because if he takes, then he clogs up that diagonal that I'm trying to threaten. So that's no good. And almost certainly he's going to take, I assume. Maybe he wouldn't have to. What else do I have going on here? Anything? Pawns are pretty much locked up through the middle. I can push the h pawn. It's kind of a pointless move, but it's a move. Does he protect that anymore? If I go g5, when did that situation change? Did he move his queen? Is that what happened? Is that what I missed? Did he move his queen? Because if I go up there now, there's no threat, and I threaten the knight. Oh, right, I can't actually take it. It's kind of uncomfortable. I get right in his grill. It doesn't really accomplish anything, though. I'm sure someone who actually knows how to play chess is just like screaming at the video right now. Yeah, I got the knight pinned. So where can I move that the knight would otherwise guard to make him uncomfortable? If I can get in front of the queen, that would be pretty awkward. I don't see a good way to get there, though. It would have to be, I think it would have to be my... No, I don't see a good way to get there. Yeah, pushing that pawn, pushing my h-pawn was actually a terrible move. Because that takes away a spot for my knight, which hypothetically could have been good. Could help me bust open the G file. Frickin' Emir. Alright, this feels like a stall, but I'm just going to move here. Okay, I no longer have a pin with the bishop. Now he's threatening the rook. So I've got to back off. Wait, was he though? Was he though? I want a do-over. Like, are you going to take it? You going to take with your queen and then lose your queen? I don't think that's likely. And you know what? Let's go ahead and stack this file. Why not? There's got to be something I do with my queen, right? I don't see a single thing I can do with my queen. Everything's clogged up. Well, I was holding off on the pawn. If I push my b-pawn, I can create some noise over here. But now, with where his queen is now, he'd be able to dive in. This becomes a free pawn. And it's just a massacre. So I need to be able to protect that. Right, because then now if I move the pawn and he comes in with the queen, he can't go to the A file. He can't stop short in the B file. I feel like I'm okay there. I mean, you gotta take the knight, right? Gotta take the knight. If he doesn't take with his bishop, well, okay, I'm gonna take your bishop with my pawn too. And this is threatening to promote at any moment. I'm gonna come in here, nice and cozy. So if they really want that pawn, they're going to lose their rook. I managed to make it real uncomfortable. Is there anything on the right-hand side here in the G file? So if I take the pawn, it's check. He takes with his pawn. If I take the pawn to my rook again, it's check. He takes with his king. Don't think there's anything there. My queen is doing absolutely nothing. I need to get this queen out of here. This knight isn't doing anything either other than blocking the queen. I'd love to come to a4. He can push his pawn and get me to check, but that's meaningless. Then I take with the queen. I think that's okay. I think this is an okay move. Okay, interesting. I go queen c3, shit, I can't actually get through there properly. I'd have to get back out the king, I think, to make room. Is there a knight move here that helps me? Can't go there. If I come in behind the bishop, his queen comes up. And that's a free knight, so that's no good. Oh, God, I don't want to go back where I came up. I think I'm stuck at the edge of the board now. This is why you don't go to the edge of the board with knights. Okay. No, that's not going to work. God damn it. Well, if I move the king to c3, move the king to c3. I don't have to actually take anything. I mean, I can't do that because he's protecting the a pawn. That would have been a huge blunder. Then the queen would have came in. I would have been in check. It would have been super bad. So I definitely can't do that. I could go with the a file. Go a2, then I'm still covering that pawn. I think that's the play. Let's go here. Oh, really? I still can't promote though, right? I mean, what are you looking to do? You want to lose that rook? You do. You do want to lose the rook. If I go d2 with the queen, it puts pressure on that a pawn. It seems like pretty clean pressure too. Now I can duck in. If I go back with my bishop. No, I want to keep protecting this pawn because this basically locks his rook. If he tries to get cute with the rook, then I potentially promote and check. So I feel like he's a little handcuffed there. I really think it's queen a5. Right? Because then I can go c7 the following turn, collect that pawn. Well, no, I guess I can't. Then I lose my queen. But the knight is covering c5, so it's not like his queen can... Yeah, and his knight on the right side is basically trapped. Like, he did the same mistake I made. His knight doesn't have anywhere to go, really. The only square they can go to is g3 here, but this pawn is here to keep that under control, if not the rook. Yeah, I don't see a threat. Let's take this pawn. Pulls back with the queen. I still see the danger, so I'm not going to do anything crazy. I can come in here. threaten this pawn, which seems really good. I mean, it's not like I'm really doing much good with this anyway. Out here, I think this is a golden opportunity to get this knight off the edge. Now he comes back to protect this pawn. Okay, that's fine. I threaten with my bishop. Why would he do that? Now I take with my bishop, and he can't even take it back. Why would he have done that? If he kept the knight, if he moved the knight closer to the rook, I feel like that's a blunder. That's got to be a blunder. There's no way that was the right move. Yeah, I don't know what happens here, but even if I lose the bishop, I feel like this is winning. Okay, so yeah, now he's going to try to trap. That's fine. But if you do that, if you do that, you lose your queen. What was that move? What did he just do? You just take a pawn? Oh, I thought I had him trapped back there. I guess I didn't. What a jerk. Okay, so now he's covering this middle position again. Got it. All right, well, you know what, dude? I'm going to take this pawn. No, then he takes my bishop. No. This, my original queen to c7, right? Then he's guaranteed to lose his queen. Like, the best he can do is take my first queen, and then I take his queen with my other queen. I feel like that's the best scenario. There's nowhere else to go. If he takes my knight, he still loses his queen, and I have two queens. He can't come here. He can't come anywhere left of his current position. He can't go straight back. He could retreat diagonally down or up. But he loses a pawn and he's on the run. I think that only favors me. Right? Fine. Really? You're rook hunting back here? Yeah, no, get out of here with this. Now he's getting desperate. Check. Check. Okay, I managed to not screw that up. Okay, so I've got this covered. This is covered. All you can do is go down. But only one square. He has exactly one square. Still has legal moves. He can push pawns. So I don't think I'm at risk for a stalemate. If I go queen to the 8th rank here, that's check. He has to move to h7. And then if I go queen g8, it's checkmate, right? Because he can't take the queen. He can't take the rook. He can't go down left. Yeah, that's right. Get wrecked, Emir. Okay, so it looks like 74.5% accuracy. I don't know what I'd normally do, so maybe that's a thing. I know it's not good, but it was good enough to beat Emir, who's, presumably ranked at 1,000. So that's pretty decent, I guess. No brilliant moves, one great move, 2 blunders. He had 2 as well. He had 3 mistakes. I had 2. Almost the same on inaccuracies. So yeah, in general, I would say that if this ranking is to be trusted, it seemed to be playing around 1,000, maybe a little higher at the moment. Really interesting to see this graph up above here. It was really close. I pulled out to a little bit of an advantage. Then something went terribly wrong and kind of stayed bad, and then went really wrong before it swung dramatically in another direction. I wonder what these moves were. Can I get to these? C4 is a blunder. So that was... He did not like that move, huh? What was I looking at, though? Really, pull the knight across. I mean, that knight basically ended up doing nothing. I don't remember what happened with that knight at all, frankly. I think it might have just sat there pretty much until the end of the game. So yeah, I suppose getting it out of there and trying to get it into some action. So then you go b3 to c5? Yeah. Yeah. And then threaten the bishop. Get past the pawn structure. That makes sense. I think bringing the knight over actually did occur to me at one point, but I thought it would take too long. How did I swing this around? Or did he just screw up really bad? What happens here? Oh, so I push this pawn. They hate that move. they're all in on black with that move. But then I take, which they say is a great move. What? And that swung the game. And then I proceeded to take his bishop. Yeah, that was a huge blunder. He moved the stupid rook on the back line. Then I take the bishop, and it's just all white. It's all white from then on out. That busted everything wide open. Yeah, he should have taken. It's baffling to me he didn't take. Obviously, he's going to lose it to my bishop. But as it went, like, he lost it for nothing. And then I threatened his rook the following turn. And how did I save that? Oh, right. So I moved in with the bishop to guard. Right. Yeah. So my bishop ended up in that square anyway. And I kept the pawn, which ended up being critical in the end because I promoted, which enabled me to take his queen by swapping, since I had two. What? And so instead of my brilliant pawn fork that paid off big time, because clearly he should have taken with his pawn, I would have then taken with my bishop and continued to threaten the knight. But certainly that would have been better for black than what happened. But why is bringing the... Yeah, they really wanted me to get that knight out of there. That's what it comes down to. Really wanted me to move that knight. Let's see if I'm right here. And it's going to say capture with the pawn. Yeah, exactly. Huge advantage for black. Puts pressure on the bishop. The bishop has to take. And if I proceed to try to take the knight, it ends up being a trade. Interesting. Well, in any event, I think that's going to do it. That'll do it for chess for now. Thank you all so much. Please like and subscribe. This has been Honest Man, trying to learn some chess, and I'll see you next time.